The rise of affordable genome sequencing, genomic data science, and genetic engineering tools, along with an increasing trend towards personal genetic testing services, have led to a massive growth in human genetic data. This type of data, especially when aggregated and combined with donor phenotypes, can be extremely valuable for drug discovery, research, and public health. This growth also highlights a major issue with the mechanisms that generate and control these data sets. Users do not own their DNA, do not have control over their DNA, and cannot profit from their DNA. Monetization methods via blockchain-based data tokens is key to solving part of this problem. In a blockchain system that allows users to sell their genetic data in a sovereign manner, a data token represents an aggregated data sets. Privacy computing methods allow data consumers to buy access to this data set and run algorithms on top of it without any data being released publicly. To solve the centralization of data generation, a bioinformatics blockchain platform needs to work as a two-sided marketplace. This means that rather than providing a single lab to sequence all consumer genes, the Web3 platform needs to cater to multiple labs and multiple genetic service providers. To ensure that labs and genetic service providers are properly vetted, the platform needs to have systematic reviews of each onboarding provider. To properly decentralize this, a token-curated DAO is formed. This governance mechanism is based on separate governance tokens only provided to vetted service providers already on the platform. Additionally, the platform needs to be permissionless and allow additional biomedical and bioinformatics applications to be built on top of it. This ensures that the core developers do not have centralized technical control over the platform. This is what DeBio Network is. This is what we are building together with you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Pandu Sasardoyo. I'm the CEO of the DeBio Network. And we are here today to show you the progress of our first quarter, quarter one of 2022. As you know, we are the anonymous first blockchain for medical and bioinformatics data. And we have won several awards last year, including the Health Tech Innovation of the Year by CNBC Indonesia, and several awards from East Denver, the East Denver Hackathon, including the UN SDG Awards, UN SDG Bounty, and ITFS Bounty. We are also part of the Octopus Network and collaborating with KILP, and we're built on Substrate. We are going to go through our strategy, product development, acquisition, and marketing next. In terms of the strategy, well, we're starting with the strategic update and then strategic plan. The strategic update includes several things, and we'll go through them one by one. I have my team here to represent me for several of the more in-depth things. As an overview, DeBio Network is 100% on track with all the functions development, and we have reached overall tech timeline targets. Lydia, my CTO, will present this. We have onboarded 3 service providers to DeBio within the first quarter of mainnet operations. This includes a leading life sciences lab in Indonesia. We have multiple mainstream media coverage, as well as mainstream campaigns, including a upcoming documentary on Amazon Prime. And Alex, my CMO, will be presenting this as well. Our strategic plan, which I will present, focuses on platformization, organizational decentralization, as well as technical community engagement, and this is done within the next 12 months. The strategic plan, starting with platformization. Platformization draws upon the fact that DeBio is actually a full-stack blockchain. We are an app chain, which means we're an application-specific blockchain, which means you can actually deploy applications that are bioinformatics and blockchain on top of our app chain. That means you, yes, you, if you have a bioinformatics idea that you think can merge with a blockchain idea, or a biomedical idea, which you think would be better served if it runs on a blockchain, then you can run that or create that on top of our app chain. So we are opening public contributor access to dApp creation on the DeBio app chain. We are also initiating bounties for several use cases. We are going to decentralize the organization itself by creating a token-curated DAO. This is, of course, part of the decentralization journey. We are going to push towards technical ecosystem development by, first of all, hiring of technical ambassadors, including blockchain developers as well as genomic data scientists. And then we are building a GitHub contribution ecosystem, which means that there are transparent issues creation, and contributor registration. I'm giving this over to my CPO, Lydia, to speak about product, and I will come back.
Okay, thank you, Pandu. So this is the product overview that I'm going to explain. The highlight, the roadmap, and the use cases for the present and the future one. The product part, as you know, we are a decentralized application, and we already launched our mainnet previously on Q4 2021. And we decentralize the medical users such as lab, genetic analysts, hospital, and doctors. And we bridge the test result from physical to digital data. We also allow DNA to be imported from third-party data such as 23andMe, 1000 Genomes, or other platforms. We also allow medical record to be imported from physical files. This is the electronic medical record. And we also have integration with several projects such as On Finance, and this On Finance is the first stablecoin bridge on Octopus network. I mentioned before that we are also going to open for public contributor. So that's why we also have a clear and transparent documentation for public. And the left side is the DeBio Network on GitHub technical documentation, which you can open as well. We're also still developing on the documentation as we go. And the right one is the Git book. You can find it on docs.debio.network. This one has more clear explanation for, especially for the non-technical people, because in here we have our vision, our introductions, tokenomics, the roadmap as well. And also we explain more our products and services in here, such as the genetic testing, biomedical testing, and electronic medical records, and the request lab, and all of the things in here. And the next slide is we show the documentations that we are currently have in our GitHub. This is only one of the example that we have is on the DeBio node. Our blockchain substrate is on the docs folder. We have all of palettes information, documentation about how we use the palettes in there, what's the functions, and how you can use the function and the palettes. The right one is the internal Confluence for all of the repositories as well. We are also have exporting it to the GitHub, so you can see the clear documentations on the GitHub as well, on the README and the documentation. In terms of roadmap, where are we right now? And we all have passed the Q1 2022, and the next slide will be for more detailed perspective what we have been doing on Q1 is the customer genetic data. You can upload your pre-existing genomic data in the bio applications, and you can also request genetic analysis on the genetic data that has been uploaded. And also from the genetic analyst perspective, which will analyze your genomic data, there we also have been developing their dashboard to see list of orders coming for their site. And the last two, the marketing expansion to onboard more customers and lab and physical lab onboarding will be explained after this with Ibnu. And this one is what we are going to develop in until Q4. So the next slide, this one is the use cases for our DeBio present use cases. Is that DeBio is, as you know, is a full stack blockchain which allows new dApps and use cases to be created on top of it. And for the current use cases that we are have been deployed and currently deployed and we're going to develop is that lab physical sample to digital bridge or request test. This one has been deployed, and you can also request lab or request some services. This also have been deployed. And also for the genetic consultant services from pre-existing genomic data, this one is the one that you can upload your pre-existing genomic data from 23andMe or 1000 Genomes or other platforms that you've taken tests previously, and this also have been deployed. And for EMR or electronic medical record or personal health record, this also have been deployed. You can upload your medical records in the bio applications, but for more use cases for the EMR, we are going to develop in this year as well. And for the next development that we are going to develop is the privacy computing and data marketplace in Ocean, second opinion marketplace, the DAO development that have been mentioned previously, interlab collaboration, and hospital and medical doctor onboarding. Okay.
Here's the overview of the science updates. Firstly, we have onboarded 2 research laboratories from respected research universities in Indonesia. Genomic RC, which is providing NAT2 genetic testing to help to select appropriate treatment by predicting TB treatment effect based on the customer's acetylated phenotype. The second onboarded lab is SITH ITB, which is providing their urine-based exon 2 BRCA1 breast and ovarian cancer screening genetic test. Next, we have our first genetic analyst, Dr. Poppy Septiani, who has a PhD in genetics and currently working as a researcher in genetics and genomics area. Okay, YRC University is a research-based university in Jakarta, Indonesia. It has its own research center of genetic or genomics called Genomic RC. Genomic RC has been receiving research grants from the National Institute of Health of America, Genome Institute of Singapore, Ministry of Public Health of Thailand, and the GSPS Core to Core program from Japan. Today, we happily announce that Genomic RC is part of DeBio's ecosystem, and it's here to provide NAT2 gene testing that has pharmacological significance. NAT2 gene is responsible for maintaining proliferous drug metabolism capacity. This is important because some tuberculosis drug treatments needs to be dose adjusted to fit your liver metabolism. If you don't do this, your liver will be at higher risk of damages and hepatotoxicity. Quoting the head of Genomic RC, Professor Rika, from her research back in 2017, NAT2 slow acetylated phenotypes are associated with disease risk and drug toxicity. The NAT2 slow acetylated phenotypes have been investigated to have association with cancer risk, and isoniazid-induced hepatotoxicity in tuberculosis treatment. So, NAT2 genotyping by Genomic RC may help us to select appropriate treatment by predicting tuberculosis treatment effect based on customers' acetylated phenotypes. And all customers do is to send their buccal swab to Genomic RC to be analyzed. Interpretation of NAT2 genetic screening. So these individuals are classified as being slow, intermediate, or fast acetylators depending on their diphenotypes. Dose reduction may be considered for both slow and intermediate acetylator. However, it should be verified that the reduced isoniazid dose still produces serum levels within the therapeutic range. As we can see here at the report on the left, which is a customer with intermediate acetylator capacity, he or she should have the dosage of certain drugs adjusted for their treatments, while the customer on the right, the fast acetylator one, may require an increased dosage. Now, we're going to talk about BRCA1 gene. The School of Life Sciences and Technology, SITH, was established in January 2006 as one of the faculties at the Bandung Institute of Technology in Indonesia. DeBio Network is working with SITH ITB to provide a urine-based BRCA genetic test. The test will focus on the exon 2 mutation of the BRCA1 gene and will help determine whether you are at risk of breast cancer and or ovarian cancer. According to NCBI, the BRCA gene plays a role in maintaining genomic stability, and it also acts as a tumor suppressor. The malfunction of this gene will result in a lower capacity of DNA repair and thus increases cancer risk. Mutations in this gene are responsible for approximately 40% of inherited breast cancers and more than 80% of inherited breast and ovarian cancers. So families with these mutations are often said to be affected by hereditary breast and ovarian cancer syndrome. Women with BRCA1 gene mutation have 35 to 60% chance of developing ovarian cancer in their lifetime, as compared to with 1.6% in the general population. So in terms of statistics, earlier prognosis increases the survival rate of individuals with breast cancer. Earlier detected groups having as much as 93% and 72% survival rates for people in stage 2 and stage 3 of breast cancer, respectively. A famous case of the genetic test is celebrity Angelina Jolie. Of course, we all know Angelina Jolie, where she had a full mastectomy after she had discovered she had a good chance of developing breast cancer. You should consider getting a BRCA genetic test if 1. You have experienced 2 or more types of cancer, 1 or more of your close relative has been diagnosed with breast cancer or other BRCA-associated cancers, 3. A relative with a known BRCA1 or BRCA2 mutation, and lastly, your family has a history of hereditary breast cancer. Genotyping process in SCTI-ITB incorporates cell-free DNA extracted from the urine, a non-invasive sample collection. As Dr. Marcelina from the School of Life Sciences and Technology of ITB stated, mutation of BRCA1 or 2 is observable using cell-free DNA, a new potential component from the liquid biopsy. Dr. Kalia Mehta, a genetic and biomolecular expert from SITB, also stated that this novel testing method allows non-invasive sample collection, unlike the others that require blood collection. It is indeed convenient. Now moving on to our genetic analyst here. So genetic analyst is here to review and reanalyze health records that have relation to genetic diseases and disorders in order to identify patterns to show common traits among customers. Currently, DeBio Network has already onboarded a genetic analyst, which is Dr. Poppy Septiani. She has PhD in genetics. She is working as a researcher in genetics and genomics area. Right now, she is doing human mRNAs, microRNAs research for novel drug discovery. She also has been involved in metagenomic research of COVID-19 patients and SARS-CoV-2 genome identification since the outbreak. These are our advisors who help us throughout the journey and help us in making DeBio a better product. We have 9 advisors in total. And this is our framework. Now, this is our lab onboarding scheme, where we start with a simple question whether the lab is in the request map. If not, the lab will be included into the research list. If the lab is already present within our request map services, we will ask for a lab partnership. The lab will be then offered an onboarding offer or a prepay offer to start their journey in our ecosystem. Thank you so much. Back to you, Mbak Pandu.
All right, then. Now we are on to the marketing section. Overview, this is what my whole presentation would be like. So it's a breakdown of everything I'm going to talk about. So what I'll cover first is what we've been doing so far, how we've been reaching out to our audience, the different segments of our audience across the communication spectrum, what we've been doing for our outreach programs, how we are working on our mainstream and industry focuses, how we intend to tailor our efforts to help reach these 2 groups, and then finally the next steps and how we intend to continue on the momentum we've built and also continue gathering and garnering more support in the community and also our audiences. So firstly, let's move. So basically, we define 3 different simple audience types. So you have your crypto degens, you have your mainstream audience, and then we have focus industries. So people or audiences which are within a particular focus which we really want to target specifically. So for degens, what we've been doing so far is we've been ramping up our Twitter engagements. We have been making sure that activity in Telegram is consistent. We have multiple community managers making sure that everyone in the community is able to interact with us smoothly and get their questions answered. We run a lot of airdrops and contests to boost and increase engagement. We have multiple AMA sessions, and we've been doing community interviews and partnerships. So this is what we'll be doing overall for the DGen. For the mainstream community, basically the average Joes, what we've been working on is we are really building content and targeting people on Twitter. We are working on our Facebook outreach, and we're also improving our Instagram targeting. So these are the three main platforms we want to work with at this moment. However, depending on how well these three work, we will include TikTok in the future, LinkedIn, and then lastly, when we have enough content and we have enough content, we've generated enough buzz, and we have generated enough awareness, then we will start running Google ad campaigns where people can start searching for us, and they will eventually end up on our page, on our products, when health-related search is made. And lastly, industry focuses, where we partner up with people like CNBC and also Advancements TV. All these are actually targeted campaigns where we run, and we want to hit specific communities or specific groups of people. So next. This is just an update on our outreach, how we've been performing on Twitter. So in Twitter itself, for this quarter, we've hit about 145k impressions. So this is basically the 50% jump from when we first sampled. Of this as well, we have also hit about 64,000 visits, another 50% jump. And our mentions is also another 50% increase, which is now at 721. We have lost about 4% of our followers from the very beginning of the year till now, but we believe we should be able to make up for these numbers with our mainstream ad campaigns and our mainstream targeting. So all this, we hope in the next quarter, when we update you again, we should have more followers, higher number of impressions, visits, and mentions. This is Twitter. So another part of our outreach is the AMAs we conducted and we've worked. So between when we launched right up to now, we have approximately, because there were some AMAs which we did not record properly during the launch, but approximately we have about 40 plus AMAs conducted, and we reached out to 20 plus communities. So basically, we've been working very hard to make sure that everyone in the crypto community is updated, it's brought up to speed, and they understand what we've been doing, and this project has been working even after the IDO was completed. Next. We've also been working hard to build our community partnerships. So we've had notable partnerships like we've been working with multiple near guilds. We've been working with multiple octopus guilds. We work with Ref Finance. We are going to bring in a stablecoin. We are going to bring in a stablecoin association while working with OIN Finance. We have Rocketo on board. We work with Skyward, and also we work very closely with the Octopus Network. So these are all our notable partnerships. Of course, we are developing more, and once they are all finalized, we will announce them accordingly. So just check our Twitter page, and you will be able to see all the new partnerships we've been acquiring so far. Next, this is basically our mainstream outreach. So since we started reaching out to our mainstream audience, basically our Facebook and Instagram has grown. So on Facebook itself, we have 75,000 reach, and it's about 101.8% growth from the very beginning. Our Instagram growth is not as good, but we have about 6,200 reach. Facebook page visits have also increased by 240%, and our IG page visits is only about 134. However, this is something we are trying to work on, and we will continue and will definitely improve within the next quarter. So how we want to work on our mainstream focus. So we have been generating very content focus, or content that's very focused on a few key aspects, which are brand awareness, key USP differentiation, user onboarding, and also the lab outreach. So these are the main core branding or core focuses our content covers, and we will be basically covering all these items so that we can really hit on and focus on getting mainstream audience, getting images and content that resonates with them. So On top of that, what we've been doing now is been doing a lot of brand awareness. So one key takeaway we can get from our current campaign is we've narrowed down a few key countries, demographics, and also demographic based on gender and also age. So basically, what we can do with this is basically we're using this to narrow down our targeting. So now we know moving forward we can target Indonesia, Vietnam, Kuala Lumpur, and Thailand a bit more aggressively, and also we can start onboarding people. So using this information, we are actually building on our onboarding campaign, which we will then really target heavily on these countries to bring the people into our app itself to start using. Same here as well. This is also a page type. So this is also to reaffirm whatever we understood from the brand awareness campaign. So people who actually came in to like our page are also roughly from the same area. So these are places we will really heavily target for all our upcoming conversion campaigns. So rest assured, we're working very hard to bring more and more people into the platform so that we have more platform activity and people can start using the service. The other thing I wanted to add here is an industry focus goal which we have. So this one is basically Advancements TV. What we've done here is we've worked with a production company to talk about to come up with a short film about how DeBio works, and we are targeting the American audience. So this specific campaign will hit American audiences who are watching this show, Advancements by Ted Danson, and it's basically an award-winning production. It will be featured in Prime Video and Bloomberg, and also basically once we have this, we hope to see a spike in brand awareness in the US. So instead of running multiple campaigns on social media and all, we decided to focus our efforts with this kind of partnership so that we can get the right people who are really interested in projects like us to come on board and start engaging. So we hope this endeavor bears fruit. This is due to launch somewhere in June. So once this is once this segment is aired, we will also update our community so that you guys can actually tune in and watch, and also monitor our growth after that. We do believe that this should help improve our awareness moving forward. So lastly, next steps for marketing. So what we intend to do after this is basically, because of all the groundwork we've done currently, we can start doing retargeting awareness campaigns. We will also do onboarding campaigns that will target mainstream users, and we will work harder we will be more present in B2B events.